Here, Equalizer Exchange, and I wanted to do just a quick wrap up rundown on some things that have been happening over the last 2 months as we started Equalizer. And I thought it was a good opportunity to sort of take a look at some of the metrics that we're looking at on a daily basis to make sure we're tracking well, but also metrics that you can have a look at yourself or areas to research, but also to give you an understanding on what we've been doing and some of the amazing things that are happening. We all know it's solidly fork season. It definitely seems to be that way. We've had a lot of success using this model. There are some great principles. We made some changes that we think really sort of add fuel to the fire, and we're basically trending everywhere in certain areas to be as good as we would have hoped after 2 months coming out with no VCs. We basically just had a fair launch and away you go. So I think it's been great. We've been able to build the team. We've done some pretty crazy stuff for when you think about it, only a little bit over 2 months. So firstly, DeFi Llama, you have your solidly fork section here. You're really starting to see this ramp up. So there's 363 million, so you can obviously see it is solidly fork sort of season. You come over here and then you have a look at the top three. We're obviously pumping around in there, which is a great place to be. The thing that keeps us happy is we're number 3 in TVL, but we're not number 3 when it comes to rewards to voters. We're actually number 1 by far. So we'll go into it and run through the fees in a minute, but definitely if you click in on here, you can see the TVL is sort of going at a bit of a rapid pace in growth, which is nice to see. You can see it's on a really good growth path, and I expect that to continue as we sort of get APRs to sort of level out a bit, because when you get these big spikes in price and commotion, your TVL takes a little while to catch up, and that's the liquidity on the platform. So I expect to see that continue on that go. And you just click on the market cap and you can see it's just crazy that that these lines are so far apart from each other. So definitely, I think we continue to see this tick up. Looking here specifically on our chain, going to Phantom, your number 2 DEX on volume, which is pretty good. We obviously started off only 2 months ago, and to be claiming that spot is very big. So we're sort of really starting to break away and make second position ours. And obviously our goal is to continue to grow liquidity on the platform and volume and return to our VE equal holders. So we move on to, I won't stay too long there, but let's move on to the trade fees, because this is a really good snapshot of why we're excelling. So we're doing a high level of swaps, as you saw from those volumes that we're seeing there. But what we're doing is we're taking in huge amounts of fees each day. Now these fees are just our top 6 pairs. So we're not even showing all of the pairs on the DEX, and to be honest, some of them are actually even stable pairings, so the fee is a bit lower. So you can get this number where we're sort of trending up near 20, and it was well over 20 that day. So as we develop more data, it's going to be more clear. But just having a look at this, like you can see, as we started, we gained traction, and now we're sort of in full speed. And I'm a big sort of person to start to read trends, and I think it's very evident that you can see the trend here. So fees is a big thing for us. That's what we're all about. The bribes go on top, so you are starting to see a lot of revenue generated for VE equal lockers, and that just ensures the success of the protocol, but it also at the same time makes the utility of equal much more sought after. So people are looking to get into equal, they're looking to lock equal, they're looking to get a share of these fees because they get these rewards on a weekly basis. So moving to Dex Screener, which is a great place for you to go in, have a good look at some nice data on the pairings over a 24-hour period, get an idea, of liquidity in the pairs. Obviously, you've got all these where you can sort of do some little volume changes, but some big volumes coming through here. I'm impressed, obviously, with WFTM USDC, which from memory was the highest. It's the blue chip. We have the most liquidity for that on the network, I believe. I'll do it in here, go in here just to make sure. Yep, there you go. So let's go from liquidity. We are the number one. So we've got more liquidity of the blue chip pair on Phantom than anyone else. So in some metrics, we're number one, which is really, really good to see. Moving back over here to have a look, you're starting to get an idea on the liquidity within the pairings, which is obviously on the rise. And then you're coming over and seeing the volume, so you're getting a good snapshot on this. Now, I like to go, well, 3.3 million at the fee. That's $6,600 in fees for the day. So you can quickly do a quick snapshot on roughly how many fees came through that pool over the last 24 hours. And then obviously you've got your more in-depth metrics that you can look at, but you can look at any pair here. The big thing that I wanted to run through is I want to show you our Twitter. And the reason I want to show you that is because we're trending everywhere, right? Like an hour ago, 2 hours ago. So put in the equal sign with the dollar in front of it, and then you start to see how much activity is actually going on in Phantom. Now, as I said, I like to watch trends, and to me, when you're trending like this on Twitter, then it's no doubt that the price has followed, because obviously you've got all these people with eyeballs on it, people waiting for entries, all sorts of stuff. So I think this is a good indicator for everyone to sort of have a look at. I'm going to try my best to pull over to Discord. And this is another one that I watch heavily. Like, I obviously watch all the people coming through to Equalizer to follow us on Twitter. But I also look at all these people joining our server, right? So that's our community. These are the guys that are really getting involved. They want to understand more. And you can really start to see the trend of people coming in. So these are another great metric and a way that I sort of evaluate how we're trending, how the progress is. Do I need to put more work in over here? Do we need to market more? What is it we need to do to attract liquidity, to generate volume, to get people understanding what we're doing? So that's what we're doing. We're basically in this build-up phase of educating people, showing them how we work, showing them the market trends to have a look at, showing them how we're growing. There's a lot to sort of wrap up that's going on, but I think it's pretty easy to see the trends that are going on and the areas that we're really focusing on. These tools will really help you evaluate the position of Equal and what your thoughts are, help you give market valuations on what you think it might be worth, whether it's an opportunity, how much revenue can be generated if you were to be a holder of Equal. We didn't even go into the bribes that come through. But finally, just finishing on this page here, you can always come in here, do some swaps. That's sort of our core function. Our core function is a liquidity hub, right? So I don't know that everyone always gets that initially, but we built contracts to draw liquidity, and that liquidity gets used not only through us, but all over the network. There's arbitrage bots, there's aggregators, there's so many things operating on our liquidity that's driving that volume because we've got these nice levels of liquidity. And as we build that, we get more volume. We're obviously putting a bit of oomph back into the FTM space where I think people are going, whoa, FTM's really moving, DeFi's great, I love operating on it, the system's awesome. So I think you're starting to see all of the things come into effect. But if you wanted to come in here, purchase yourself some Equal, you can easily come in, buy some there, pretty simple. But yeah, that's I suppose the full wrap up, area to come in and buy your Equal. DeFi Llama, a beautiful spot to evaluate our metrics and understand what's going on. Definitely get onto the June dashboards that are around. The Equal fees are fantastic. It's a good way to understand what is actually going on. And I think, at the end of the day, the platform is built for people to lock, become VE Equal, and earn the fees. It's just this big flywheel. And effectively, these are just tools to help you look at stuff. So Hope you enjoyed the catch up there. A little bit to run through, but at the end of the day, it gives you some good areas to focus on.